Good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in to our Nutrition Live session. My name is Sharnet Nixon, and I am a nutrition educator with the Southern University Ag Center. I service the parishes of East Baton Rouge and East Feliciana Parish. And as you all may know, this month is National Nutrition Month. And what better way to open up and celebrate National Nutrition Month than with this great nutritious lesson about the health benefits of a plant-based diet. Health benefits of a plant-based diet. Now, as you can see, I've crossed out the diet because sometimes we get a little iffy with that diet word. And most diets only last a short amount of time. So we want to make this a lifestyle. We want this to be the health benefits of a plant-based lifestyle. So let's talk a little bit about plant-based. So plant-based or plant-forward eating patterns focus on foods primarily from plants. This includes not only fruits and vegetables, but also nuts, seeds, oils, whole grains, legumes, and beans. It doesn't mean that you are a vegetarian or even a vegan. And it doesn't mean that you never eat meat or dairy. But in fact, it means you are proportionately choosing more of your foods from plant resources. So if you don't want to quite put a title on it just yet, you can just say you are plant-based. A plant-based lifestyle has been shown in both large population studies and randomized clinical trials to reduce risk of heart disease, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, certain cancers, specifically colon, breast, and prostate cancers, and depression, and in older adults, a decreased risk of frailty, along with better mental and physical function. So just switching your lifestyle to plant-based can help you reduce the risk of a wide variety of chronic disease and illnesses. Now, what is plant-based? Plant-based ingredients are those derived only from a land or marine-based plant or fermented ingredients suitable for plant-based eating, such as tofu or soy byproducts. The functional compound found within the original plant must also be retained in a meaningful amount after processing. So this just simply means after the plant is processed or the plant item is processed, it has to still have its main nutrient content in order to be considered plant-based. Now, let's talk about animal-based diets versus plant-based diets, or animal-based lifestyle versus plant-based lifestyle. Now, it's 86% of people in the world have an animal-based diet. So that's a great amount of people who eat animal-based. So what is animal-based? So looking at this chart here, we see we have dairy items, which are cheese, milk, yogurt, and butter, eggs, which are your chicken eggs or your duck eggs, fish and seafood, which is tuna, swordfish, shrimp, scallops, clams, and you have your meat, which is beef, chicken, pork, turkey, and bacon. So those are all in a animal-based diet. Now let's look at our plant-based diet. So what are some plant-based foods? We have legumes, which are our navy beans, peas, and lentils. We have our dark green leafy vegetables or our leafy vegetables, which is lettuce, spinach, arugula. We have bulbs, which are onions, garlic, shallots, roots, beets, potatoes and carrots, our flower vegetables, which are cauliflower, broccoli, and artichoke, our whole grains, which are wheat products, brown rice and rye, our fruits, which are tomatoes, oranges, and kiwis, our mushrooms, and there are a many variety of mushrooms, but here are just a few, which are portobello, button, and shiitake. Our stem vegetables, which are celery, rhubarb, and asparagus. And last but not least, our nuts, which are pecans, cashews, and walnuts. And these are all plant-based foods. Now let's talk about some of the benefits of plant-based diets or a plant-based lifestyle, since we already know what some plant-based foods are. So plant-based diets are lower in saturated fat and cholesterol, which are great for people who have chronic conditions such as diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease, and so many other ones. Higher plant-based diets are higher in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, soys, fiber, and phytochemicals. And phytochemicals are, well, phyto is the Greek word for plants, and chemicals are the great nutrients and various minerals that the body needs. So we need those phytochemicals. And in recent study at Harvard, they found out that 1/3 of early deaths could be prevented if people move towards plant-based eating. So that's about 200,000 lives that could be saved if if everyone would just switch over to a plant-based diet. Now, here are some other benefits of a plant-based diet. So people who follow a plant-based lifestyle have significantly less heart disease mortality, cancer incidence, high blood pressure, and type 2 diabetes. So most people who stick to a plant-based diet don't really deal with these types of things. And also, people with plant-based lifestyle have a lower LDL cholesterol levels, which are the bad cholesterol. We do not want to have too many LDL cholesterols floating around in our body. So we want to make sure we get rid of those. And you also have a lower BMI. And BMI is just your body mass index, which is the measurement of body fat based on an adult woman or male's height and weight. Now let's look at the benefits of a plant-based diet for diabetics. So plant-based diets are a healthy option for people with diabetes because it most likely does not spike your glycemic levels. And another point I have, it can help prevent and manage diabetes. It promotes weight loss and lower A1C levels without carbohydrates and calorie restrictions. So it gives you the proper carbs and calories that you need in order to maintain your diabetic state. Plant-based eaters had a 60% lower risk of developing diabetes than animal-based eaters in the Adventist Health Study too. And just another fact, greater improvement seen with a low-fat plant-based diet versus an ADA diet in achieving glycemic control and lipid control. So those are some great benefits for people with diabetes. Now, what to eat? What to eat when you are on a plant-based diet? So what we want to eat is we want to eat whole intact foods. So eating foods instead of food products. So these are some examples. We have vegetables, fruits, beans, nuts and seeds, whole intact grains, which are grains that have our germ, bran, and endosperm, and herbs and spices. So what to eat plant-based foods? Whole intact plant foods are low in saturated fats. They're low in caloric density, which means they don't give us that sluggish feeling whenever we eat heavy foods like meat and protein products. They are higher in fiber. They're low in glycemic response, which means it doesn't spike our glucose levels. And they are high in phytonutrients that reduce risk of chronic disease. And once again, we know phyto is the Greek word from plants. So the nutrients you get from plants is what the body needs to reduce chronic disease. And phytonutrients just means the compounds in plants that promotes good health. So whole foods and plant-based diet is a plan to show reversal of chronic disease, and it could even prevent us from getting chronic diseases. Now, what should my plate look like? So what should my plant-based my plate look like? So here's an example. You have your fruits, your vegetables, your whole grains, and your protein. But instead of having lean proteins, we just eat legumes and nuts. And also, instead of having that dairy, we substitute that for water. And you can also substitute your protein with flaxseed meal or garbanzo meal as well, garbanzo bean meal. Now let's look at some plant-based meal ideas. So for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you want to make sure you remember to have a fruit and or vegetable, a whole grain of starch, or a protein item. So you want to make sure you get about 3 servings of fruit a day. Vegetables, you want to get about 4 servings or more of vegetables a day. For whole grains, you want to do about 5 servings a day. And you want to make sure you do your healthy, starchy whole grains like potatoes and brown rice or whole grain bread. And for protein, you want to get about 2 servings a day. And of course, that's going to be our legumes and our beans and those great fiber-rich protein. All right, now let's look at some plant-based snack ideas. So we have a nice little celery and carrot tray with some hummus to dip, which is always good. Hummus is a great plant-based snack. We have some edamame. I love to eat edamame. And of course, you can't go wrong with fruit. And we also have a fruit and nut bar down here at the bottom. Choose any brand. Make sure you read that nutrition fact label and see if those ingredients are truly plant-based. Now let's look at the lesson tips. So tip number 1, I want you all to try and prepare plant-based meals before mealtime. So I know we get busy throughout the day, but if you take one day and meal prep your meals, it becomes much more easier for you. You won't have to guess at what meals you should prepare when they're already prepared. Tip number 2, don't be hesitant to try new ways of eating your favorite or different vegetables. So go ahead and change things up. If you usually use meat for one of your dishes, try and substitute with shiitake mushroom or oyster mushroom. Go ahead and add those new ways of eating your favorite or different vegetables. And tip number 3, take it easy and make nutritious improvements one day at a time. So don't beat yourself up. Take it one day at a time. It's a lifestyle change. So it's a journey. It's a continuous journey. And last, I want to leave you with a food for thought. And as the great Greek physician Hippocrates once said, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And one more thing, I challenge you to commit to creating more two or three meals this week for you and your family, with vegetables being the foundation of your meal. And I know you can do it. Don't forget to tag us in your posts on Facebook at SUAG Nutrition. Also, we're doing a National Nutrition Month challenge. Make sure you check out our Facebook post just to get the details. And I can't wait to see you all's plates. Thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed this nutrition live session. Please tune in for next for our next nutrition lesson. My name is Sharnet Nixon. I'm a nutrition educator with the Southern University Ag Center, and I service the parishes of East Baton Rouge and East Feliciana Parish. Thank you all and have a great day.